And yes, welcome back to Breakfast Central. Still a very bright and beautiful Monday morning here, most especially for Manchester City fans, as they, of course, lifted the English Premier League yesterday after beating Aston Villa. Congratulations to them. And for Manchester United fans, it was not, the very best last day of the season. Johansson, I'm sure you have a lot to say. And I can't even drink any Arsenal tears this morning because
Oh my goodness!
this is Manchester United tears, fielding this stuff.
You might want to drink Manchester United tears and not that of Arsenal, but it wasn't a spectacular league, as it's rightly said. The English Premier League is the biggest and the toughest and the brightest league in the world, and I must say I agree to that because anyone who definitely plays for any club in the English Premier League always attests to the fact that it is completely different a league. Aside that, there's also this statement that many were expecting Liverpool to win. I was one of those who spoke very strongly on Friday afternoon, and I said that if care is not taken, Liverpool will pick up this trophy. And it started to look that way, that they were getting very closer to winning it, especially when Aston Villa came close to ensuring that Man City will never win. But you see that guy called Gundogan, he's something else. But let me tell you this very quickly, that Man City definitely have won the English Premier League title after beating Aston Villa 3-2 in a crazy scenario, as they put it. It is the fourth championship title for Man City. And of course, it's Algerian, Riyad Mahrez. Now, Mohamed Salah, on his part, won his third title as top scorer in the league, and it is something to indeed be celebrating about. Now, guys, take a look at this. We've got two Africans who definitely have won the league back-to-back. I'm talking about this current season. Now, you also do have Riyad Mahrez, who definitely has his name written or incredibly or indelibly written, especially as one who will be remembered for Manchester City, who won that league as well. Don't forget that it was closer. Mohamed Salah was touted not to play yesterday, but unfortunately, many fans gave up hope until they saw him come in during the game. And everyone was like, could it be that Klopp was pulling up a joker? Yes, it was. It seemed so. But Man City were focused until the end. Now, the citizens who were only 1 point ahead of Liverpool had a scare. Yes, they did. They were beaten 2-0 by Aston Villa in the final day of the Premier League. If you recall, Riyad Mahrez, who started the game, was helpless up front. The Algerian was replaced in the 56 minutes by Raheem Sterling, who came in a bit, tried to dazzle here and there. And did he make some changes? Absolutely, he did. He had a lot of changes that affected the team, and everyone decided to go their different ways this time, but their different ways in terms of heading straight to the goal. And that's exactly what they did. They did score. They came down up from 2-0, and it was 2-1, 2-2, and eventually it was 3-2. A crying Pep Guardiola could not help but shed tears because he knew how tough this encounter was. He knew how dangerous Klopp was, especially when it came to making things happen. But let's also tell you quickly that Mohamed Salah and Son Heung-min shared the Premier League Golden Boot on Sunday after both forwards scored on the final day of the season. South Africa's Son netted twice in Tottenham's 5-0 win at Norwich to move to 23 goals, one clear of Salah, but the Egypt forward struck late in Liverpool's 3-1 win at home to Wolves, and that saw them have a tie. Meanwhile, Manchester United's Cristiano Ronaldo, CR7, finished third with 18 goals in his first season back in the Premier League. Imagine he scored 18 goals, even more than some strikers who have been there in the Premier League for such a long time. Salah's goal was ultimately in vain as Jurgen Klopp's team finished 1 point behind Manchester City, who scored 3 goals in 5 minutes to beat Aston Villa 3-2. Thanks to that man, Gundogan. Well, joining me this morning, all the way from Germany, I do have a sports journalist who definitely is incredible at what he does. I've got Omar, who joins me here. Omar, thank you so much for being here this morning. Omar Sports, it's good to have you. Now, let's start off first. I know you are elated already, but what were your thoughts? What was it like, first of all, out there in Germany? What were Africans, everyone, what were they saying at the end of this tough encounter?
Of course, everyone were basically, how would I put it? Everyone were excited, except that a lot of persons wanted the African trio of Sadio, or the African contingent of Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah to win the Premier League. And of course, you know that Jurgen Klopp is German. So there's a lot of German connection with Liverpool Football Club. However, there are a lot of people who also wanted Man City because of Riyad Mahrez. In Germany, you have a lot of Algerian people who live in Germany, and a lot of them were supporting Riyad Mahrez to win the Premier League. And of course, the drama, the suspense that characterized the final day of the league was basically too much for a lot of persons to handle. And I mean, I said that if you told me that the Premier League is not scripted, I wouldn't believe you.
Ah, I see. Now, so you also joined the bandwagon. I mean, towards the end, if you go on Twitter as well, I can still see some tweets here with me where people were saying, "Tell me this is not scripted." And this scripting issue started when Everton eventually came from a 2-goal down to eventually beat a Crystal Palace and ensure that they do not go to the relegations. Well, let's take a look at Everton as well before we go back to the champions. Let's look at Alex Iwobi and his being instrumental to ensuring that they did not go down the relegation zone. What are your thoughts on his performances thus far this season?
It's a great resurgence. Alex, at some point at the AFCON, wasn't playing regularly for both club and country. And of course, he got a look in at the AFCON. And I asked him after that game, I think that game against Sudan, if I'm not mistaken. And he said that that game was very good for his confidence, that he would need more games like that so he could regain his place at club football and, of course, at national team football. And since then, things have changed for him at Everton. And he's played a pivotal role in helping Everton to remain in the Premier League. I think that's a very good thing for him because his career, seemed to have gone through a very tough period. I think what he has done for Everton would help him build more confidence going into next season, and hopefully they can do better in the Premier League next season.
All right, Omar, let's take a look at African players. I remember back in the days you had Samuel Eto'o, who definitely was making headlines across Europe. You also had Yakubu Aiyegbeni of Nigeria. You had Daniel Dibula Mokachi, and the likes of other players who were definitely applying their trades there in England. Not forgetting to the likes of Finidi George, just to mention a few. Now, how does it feel, and what should African players take note of, especially now that you have the top 3 clubs in the Premier League, and all of them do have a taste or a fabric of African footballers who are doing fantastically well?
I think that what has happened so far is just an improvement on what has been happening in the past. You just mentioned African players who have made their mark in the Premier League. Didier Drogba, Sheyi Emmanuel Adebayo, Nigeria's Yakubu Aiyegbeni, Samuel Eto'o, JJ Okocha, Kanu Wankwo. The list is endless. So you can see that African players have been a part and parcel of English Premier League football in a long time, and that trend will continue. Mo Salah, Sadio Mane, Joel Matip, and Riyad Mahrez, to mention but a very important few, have taken the level, a notch higher. Salah has become a very household name in European football and the Premier League as well, since having a very difficult spell at Chelsea between 2014 and 2016. They returned to the Premier League in 2017, and today we're talking about Africa's highest all-time goal scorer with 107 goals in about 167 performances, winning the Golden Boot Award in the Premier League twice, and of course helping Liverpool to win their first Premier League title in 30 years. That is an amazing feat. And of course, Salah has written his name in gold in Premier League football. Let's not forget Sadio Mane as well, who has also been a very pivotal player for Liverpool Football Club, scoring, not as much as Salah, but scoring key goals for the club in very crucial moments. They are in the Champions League final. Mane has scored about 8 goals in the Champions League this season, and of course in the Premier League about 15 goals. And, he's scored about 100 goals as well in English Premier League football, sitting in 3rd position as Africa's all-time in the Africa's all-time goal scorers list in the Premier League. You cannot forget Riyad Mahrez, very crafty, with so much footballing intelligence. The way he caught him from the left for Man City, he's done a fantastic job as well, helping Man City to win the Premier League title, and of course pushing them to the Champions League semi-final, where unfortunately they lost to Real Madrid. Joel Matip as well for Liverpool has been very fantastic. He's played about 30 games for Liverpool this season. That is humongous. In English football, to rack up 30 games means so much. I think that African players are the some of the biggest names in Premier League football this season. When you remember how Salah has won the Golden Boot twice, this season is shared it with Son, which I feel a bit, bad about. I thought that he would win it outrightly, but hey, this is football. Sometimes you have to share. Generally, African players have covered themselves in glory, made Africans proud, and of course paved the way for future young African stars that will move to the Premier League in future. I'm only a bit disappointed that we have not mentioned the Nigerian this time around. That also says a lot about the deep in talent from the Nigerian perspective. Our players are just making up the numbers in the Premier League, and we want something better. We cannot forget the days of Yakubu Aigbeni, Kanu Wankwo, and the likes. I hope we rekindle those beautiful days again.
All right. I mean, you've spoken so well here on Breakfast Central. Before I let you go, I think I'll need to put you on the spot. We know that Liverpool's quadruple has indeed been tampered with, but of course they've got the 28 to prove a point that they could also pick up the UEFA Champions League. Let me put you on the spot quickly. What are your thoughts? Do you think they will be able to do this? Will Mohamed Salah be able to smile once again?
I think so. I think that they are a better side tactically in terms of general organization. But there's something about Real Madrid. They never say die attitude. They are Champions League most experienced side. It is difficult to beat them in the final. They've got fantastic players like Benzema, Vinicius Jr., not forgetting Rodrigo, who came from the bench to shatter Man City's dreams. But I think that Liverpool, overall, are slightly better than Man City. I beg your pardon, Real Madrid. But again, they need the luck on the night to win that game, because in this kind of game, those little margins determine. And I hope that can go in Liverpool's way, so that Salah can smile again after the last experience against Liverpool where he was injured and couldn't make an impact. I hope Liverpool wins. I think Liverpool is better, and I pray Liverpool wins.
All right. Okay, so I mean, the pictures you see on the screen there also has Mbappe and the issues that's going on between Mbappe and, of course, PSG. And I saw on your page you had a tete-a-tete with Mbappe as well some time ago. You know what we're going to do, Omar Katugba? We're going to have you back on Breakfast Central sometime soon, especially as the transfer window looks clear to be open now that the seasons are indeed rounding up. And then we'll talk deeply and incisively on players and their moves, and of course the recent debacle that is indeed affecting Real Madrid and of course PSG. But in the meantime, I want to say thank you so much for joining us all the way from Germany.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
How do they say bye-bye in Germany? In German, rather.
Ovid, choose.
Ovid, chulos?
You say choose.
Okay.
And then we see again, Ovidazier.
Ovidazier.
Yeah.
All right. I'll say it in French. Merci beaucoup. À tout à l'heure.
Yeah, merci beaucoup. Tout à l'heure. Yeah, correct.
All right.
Bonne journey. Have a good day.
All right, you too. So that does it, guys. All the way from sports, Omar Katugba joining us. A fantastic conversation there. Back to you guys, Olive and Osaoge. Definitely drinking some sad Manchester United tea this morning.
I'm not in that category. I'm very excited for Manchester City. Well done to them, seeing how miraculously their fate turned around in the second half. That's absolutely brilliant.
It's not, the crazy part is that's not even the first time that has happened. If you remember a couple of years ago, Manchester City won the league on the final, exactly with that Aguero goal, and it was Manchester United almost stealing the league from them with just that game. If they didn't win that game, they would have lost the league to Manchester United. So it's the second time that they're doing this. It feels like
then you had Nigeria's Taye Taiwo playing for QPR.
I remember.
Do you know the moral of this story, Joe?
You said what?
Do you know the moral of this story?
What's the moral? Tell us.
The moral is that it is not over until it is over. Do not give up. At the last minute, your breakthrough will come through.
That's a Monday morning motivation.
Let's quickly get
see what you did there. Thanks for motivating us.